Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. BlocksMove on our radar today, BLXM, a 90 odd % increase in just a couple of days. We're looking at this project, last video I did of this, I think it was about a month ago. I just want to reiterate a couple of points as to why this is such a, I wouldn't say like a massively important asset in my portfolio, but it's certainly one I'm keeping a massive eye on. And we'll go into a couple of those reasons in a second. Do not forget as well to check out the other videos that we do here on the Whales of Wall Street. A multitude of different projects, of course, and different topics. And we do go into some deep dives also, down some rabbit holes, if you like. So do go check those out and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And hit that like button. Always hit the like button. Let's go. BLXM on the exchange, guys. So for me, blocksmove is super interesting. This is like bringing loads of different transportation and mobility apps together. You might think like, well, why would we want to do that? Now take yourself outside the physical apps themselves. Okay, you could go to London, for example, any major city, and you have a multitude of different transportation app options, right, from taxis to scooters to now even being able to like rent cars temporarily for a few hours or a whole day or a couple of days. You know, just literally jump in and out of these transportation uses. So you've got all these, right? And they do make a little diagram on the homepage somewhere here as well, actually, if I remember correctly. And I think it's quite interesting because rather than having like 7 or 8 different applications on your phone, you would have basically just be using the technology and blockchain of blocksmove. Now, whether this is done through the app or simultaneously through the algorithm of you as an individual and a digital identity, i.e. DIDs, and also AI recognition, eventually you'll be able to just turn up to a car and there'll be like a visual camera screen on the car to confirm who you are, and KYC is already done in the background. And then you've got to think about all the transactions and stuff, right? The settlements of like, if you're jumping in and out of taxis, and then you might jump onto a train, you might then go onto a flight, you might go onto a scooter. And usually you would have to like keep going back and forth with your different apps and different payment systems, when actually it could all just be integrated into one thing. And this is almost, you could think of it like an umbrella, right? You could think of like blocksmove at the top of the umbrella, and then underneath of it, in all the different spike downs, you've got all the different apps you could possibly think of that could work with this mentality. Now you see here, for example, DID, as I just mentioned, is very important here. So DID is a big spectrum of blockchain moving forward. You know, digital identity or decentralized identity, either way, it's about the verification process of you as an individual that is confirmed in the background. You know, at the moment we show physical ID still, and I'm still sitting there going like, why do we do this? Like, obviously we haven't got the systems in place, that's why, just yet, to facilitate that. Of course, now things are getting better with like the airports and things. You can use digital terminals and things like that to get through customs and stuff like this. Some countries are still far behind and still do that manually. That's fine. That's just where the different countries are technologically and finance wise, right? So if you think about the magnitude of the mobility sector, which is absolutely gigantic, you're talking about millions upon millions of people with basically needing to speed up their lifestyle and speed up their work process. And this is what arguably blockchain is a big fundamental thing towards this. We need to find better ways to accommodate better sustainability, environmental impact, but also to have more time for ourselves, right? And you're going to see this more over the next few years. We're already seeing like, you know, the trials being completed of maybe potentially reducing the work week to like 4 days. That means that we have to be super productive in those 4 days, right? And I think most people generally are in the working capacity. Behavioral studies have shown that there's actually really good results from people actually having more time to work, but actually like even more time to have to themselves. So in this period of time, we could be in a fast-paced environment, right? And I think work is quite like that. The days are going faster, I feel like. Maybe I'm getting older, but the days just fly by. and you have less and less time to worry about intricate details. And that's why technology is here to help us. You could say it makes us a bit lazy for sure, but in general, these small things, I don't really have a big problem with having something automated to this extent, where I'm like, right, I need to have a meeting abroad or something, and then there's going to be about 3 or 4 different transportation methods for me to get to my destination. But then I get the pings and notifications to tell me exactly where I need to be and when, and in the background, all the payments and the settlements are done. Now, I want to talk about that a bit more quickly as well. You see here, R3 Corda obviously heavily integrated with the likes of Zinfin, XDC, and a multitude of other partners as well. And then you've got IBAN to ledger. This is the processing of the transaction being confirmed and verified and then paid. You see the IBAN terminology a lot in your bank accounts, right? And this is basically the process of making sure that the transactions and the payments are being done on your behalf, so you don't have to keep going, flicking in, pressing the double button on the side of your phone to do cashless payments and things like this. It's really, really cool, guys. And I wanted to reiterate this point as well, because we cover quite a few of these different projects. And if you remember, we did a video ages ago about Mobi. This is a phenomenal project, again, quite similar with the whole transportation and blockchain methodology. But also here, 50 Hertz, huge German company. And also Energy Web Foundation, of course, EWT on the exchange. We do speak a lot about EWT and Energy Web Foundation. We talk about EWT in the capacity of like Vodafone, for example, and the integration of the EV cars, and how we will eventually move from driving these cars to automated driving cars. But also, if you do have a manual car, you're going to be utilizing potentially wireless charging units and this, that, and the other, which will all just be simultaneously real time, paying for each part by itself. And all you're doing is just hopping in and out of these transportation methods, and then having the transactions being done in the background so you don't have to worry about them. And it's bringing together all these humongous partners in terms of integration and technology. And I think it's really interesting, guys. Like, even AW3 Labs are here as well in terms of investors. There's so many big investors in the background also. And this for me is really interesting. I think it's very early. I think this is the point I want to make, is really early. And you can see, like here on the chart, for example, obviously the big launch is back here at like $12. You can expect that. That was last year. And we flopped our way down because of the market, and just generally after launch, this usually happens with most projects. But we've been statically sitting around this sort of 34, 35 cents, and literally in the last few days shot up to around 68 cents. Okay, so I think this is a multitude of different things. We've had a couple of events that BlocksMove have been involved in quite recently, and events are really good, guys, not just for communication, but potential investors and potential people who are just wandering around and go, actually, yeah, this is pretty cool, I'm going to dump a load of money into it. So these things are really, really beneficial, and any of the webinars and the debates that they do as well, particularly in one of these recent ones around mobility. I do recommend following Sophia on social media. She's one of she is the founder, and one of the founders at least, and the CEO of BlocksMove. And I think this is going to be critical to follow these integrations, these partners, these news updates all the way through, because the development of BlocksMove, I think, is going to go really fast. And I think that in the next few years, as we are transitioning to a more automated, AI-driven DID world, this is going to be one of the top projects. And as I said, the partnerships speak for themselves. The integrations are huge, guys, absolutely huge. The capability partners, they call them in here. But yeah, as I mentioned, R3's on here. There's a couple other ones that I recognize, like Concircle. But yeah, for me, R3 Corda is obviously huge. And this is really exciting for me as an investor to be like, well, this has got big backing. It's got big partnerships. It's got big integration partnerships, and loads of other things as well. So I'm just really excited. I think, as I said, with most of these projects, when you're doing your research, also take a step back, just sit back and go, like, how big is this? Like, think how many things are used in transportation on a daily basis, and then multiply that by the millions, and then multiply that by all the different countries in the world that do similar things. And then you can start seeing that these guys could dominate that entire space if they wanted to. I'm sure there's going to be a couple other competitors out there like them, but in general, BlocksMove has arguably a step ahead of any of its competitors, just from the partnerships, the investment, and the technology behind it as well. We've got the tokenomics in terms of the burn factors of the transactions and things like this, which will be used through the system to be able to do that. And again, as well, like I just realized this point here, B2B settlement. Now, I'm not just talking about settlements in particular, but imagine the business operations as well. You know, companies sending their employees at left, right, and center, and then everything's done for them. Like, here's my A destination where I'm starting. Here's where I need to get to, and then the whole entire system calculates and tells you what exactly transportation you need, the timings, everything, all done for you. Absolutely. Obviously, you have to pay for it. We're not in the free world, right? But yeah, I think this is really interesting. Do let us know in the comments below if you hold BlocksMove. We did do an intro video for these guys a while back. I'll put that at the end. I just thought I'd do a quick recap for this for those that are new to it, or perhaps wondering, like, why is this such an interesting thing to look for as the years go by in the future? I'm really excited about it anyway. But yeah, I unfortunately haven't got trading view for this particular token yet. It's got one for Uniswap, but the liquidity is really low, so the numbers jump around quite a lot. So this is very much an overview of various different markets being pulled together: Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and Bitmart as the key ones, really. That's how early it is, guys. I think, like, no disrespect to Uniswap and PancakeSwap and all these things. Once these get onto bigger exchanges, this thing will fly significantly, in my opinion. Do suggest that the volumes are still relatively low. They're still under mostly the 1 million mark, but look at this in the last couple of days, been shooting up to very much nearly $1 million a day in trading volume. So things are picking up. Things are drawing attention to BlocksMove again, and I think this is really important to understand that yes, you could probably make some short-term gains, but for me, it's the long run. Please look at the technology and the advancements of humanity and transportation over the next 5-10 years, and you'll understand why this is such an opportunity. For me personally, I know I haven't got trade view, but I can at least use these lines as highlights. I'm going to be waiting again to accumulate. Maybe if we get back down to these 40-cent marks-ish. Right now it's still quite high. We're currently flowing at 48. We obviously had 68 yesterday, I think it was, or earlier today. So I'm just going to wait for that to come down a bit more, and I'm certainly going to be grabbing a bit more of this. But as I said, guys, let us know what you think about this in the comments below. I think this is going to be an absolute gem for the future. You have to be sometimes a bit patient, and I do think we could get back to those previous levels of over $10 in the next 5 to 10 years. That sounds like a long shot. It sounds like maybe people aren't patient enough, but trust me, this is something that you probably want to have in the background just to sit upon and see the rewards in the future. So I'm going to wrap that up there, guys. Let us know. We've got quite a few videos to get through. It's hot outside as well, so hopefully you get to the beach in a bit. But yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next BlocksMove video. Take care, and bye-bye.